I never thought betrayal would come from inside my own family, let alone from my own sister. And in the name of God, my name is Rachel. I grew up in a Christian home, and my sister Hannah and I were raised to believe in love, loyalty, and the fear of the Lord, or so I thought. After college, I met Elijah. He was a youth pastor, passionate about Christ, grounded, and humble. We dated for a year and then married with the full blessing of both our families. Hannah was my maid of honor, and she cried more than I did on the wedding day, but the tears weren't because she was happy. They were something else. Elijah and I started serving in ministry together. We weren't perfect, but we were growing. About 2 years in, I noticed something strange. Hannah started showing up to our house constantly. Sometimes she'd say, "God told me to visit." Other times, she'd just say she needed prayer. At first, I thought it was spiritual. I was naive, but slowly, she began overstepping, staying late, offering to help Elijah prepare his sermons, calling him about things that had nothing to do with her, and he never pushed her away. When I confronted her gently, she said, "You're just insecure, Rachel. I'm only here to support you both. God has called me to protect your marriage." I believed her. Everything came crashing down one night at a women's prayer service. An older lady pulled me aside and said she had a burden to share. She'd seen Hannah and Elijah having lunch alone multiple times in the next town over. Once, they were even holding hands. I wanted to faint. I went home and confronted Elijah. At first, he denied it, but something in me broke. I told him I wouldn't stop until I had the truth. A week later, a message popped up on his phone from Hannah. It read, "God told me we're meant to be together. She was never your true helper." I couldn't breathe. I showed it to him. He broke down and admitted they'd been emotionally and eventually physically involved for over a year. The worst part, my parents sided with her. They said Hannah had always been spiritually gifted, and that I should forgive and move on. I felt abandoned by the very people who taught me to walk in truth. I moved out, filed for separation. I kept praying, crying, asking God, "Why would you let this happen?" But then, God whispered to my heart, "Daughter, I didn't cause the betrayal, but I will use it to free you." Months later, Elijah publicly repented before the church. He admitted everything. He lost his position, and eventually, he reached out to ask for forgiveness. As for Hannah, she never apologized, but I've let her go, completely. The betrayal hurt, the deception broke me, but God rebuilt me from the ruins. I now serve women who've experienced betrayal in the church and at home, because even when family fails you, God never will. Even my close friend in whom I trusted, who ate my bread, has lifted his heel against me. Psalm 41:9. Sometimes the greatest betrayals come from those closest to us, but God's healing is greater than our heartbreak. He turns brokenness into boldness, pain into purpose. If you've ever been betrayed by someone you loved, you're not alone. Comment, God is my healer if you've been through a storm but still trust Him. And don't forget to subscribe for more true stories that show God's faithfulness even in the darkest valley.